Could you tell us how to pronounce Jesus in Aramaic?
Okay. We say there's several ways to say it, either complete or shortened. We say Yeshua.
Yeshua.
That's because of the I at the end. Or some of them shorten, just say Ishu.
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 Like a nickname.
Ishu. But that's how they shorten it.
Yeshua or Ishu, which is different than many of us have been saying Yeshua or
you know why?
Jeshua, but
because we make that Y a Y sound instead of an E sound.
Yes.
See, we say Yeshua because they're trying to do it in Hebrew. You see, but it's Yeshua. And he definitely had an Aramaic name, not Hebrew. See, it was Aramaic. Yeshua. But Yeshua, it's very close. It's just that you make the Y sound instead of an E.
But
See?
the lilt of it is different.
Yeah.
Yeshua.
Right.
I know that I light up inside when I say Yeshua or Ishwa.
Yeah, Yeshua. That's right, you can say it that way too.
Do you have a sense of what Jesus looked like? Because people talk about an Aryan Jesus, and I think of a Semitic Jesus, a dark-haired, olive-skinned Jesus.
That's because everybody puts Jesus in their own setting. Just like with the angels. The angels turn out to be Scandinavian.
Right.
Right? Blonde, blue-eyed, white skin. These are Semitic people dreaming. You think they ever saw a Scandinavian person? They never saw a Scandinavian person.
Can't argue with that. So how would you describe Jesus? Do you think he had long hair?
Oh yes, the hair would be long because that was part of the proper way.
And a beard.
And a beard, most definitely. And probably a mustache too, but we don't know for sure. I do describe him in my, oh no, I don't have it in this book, it's in my first one, where I describe him. Let there be light.
I would love to read that description.
I give it a little bit of description, but I said this is approximate, not... No one can say, hey, this is it 100%, but I was going by the Semitic, background.
And even though it may seem very obvious to you, could you speak to us about who are the Semitic people? Because I have a pet peeve that, when you fill out forms and then sometimes it asks your ethnicity and it'll say Caucasian, Hispanic, blah, blah, blah. But it never puts a box for Semitic.
I know. And yet we use it here in the state.
Jesus was Semitic.
Absolutely.
He's the biggest story going, but there's no box for Semitic.
But we make him everything but Semitic.
And, when it comes to being Jewish, there's a lot of upset about anti-Semitism. But there's no Semitism. Where is the big category for Semitic? Because it's not just Jews.
You have to know
and
how...
you also told me we shouldn't even be called Jews, because that's more an area. Right. We really should be called Hebrews or Israelites.
Right. Well, actually, yeah. That's fine, nothing wrong with that. Or Israeli, as they say today, even though you're not in the country, that's what you are. Your religion is Jewish, see? And Jesus' religion was Jewish.
Yes, that's a religion, not an ethnicity.
Yeah, but you have to understand where it came from. I have to give you that. The word Shem, remember Noah had 3 sons, Ham, Japheth, and Shem. Shem is where we get the word Semitic. Okay. We drop the H in English. So the really people are called Shemites. Who are Shemites? Not just Jewish people, but Assyrians, Chaldeans. The term Jews come from the word Judah. Israel had 12 sons. One of them was Judah. The tribe of Judah survived with some of the Benjamites from the tribe of Benjamin. And probably some of the other tribal people who weren't taken captive by the Assyrians in the north probably fled to the south to be among the tribe of Judah and Benjamites. When the Babylonians came in and took them captive and brought them into the land, to Babylon, and then, when Persia took over and destroyed the capital there and send the Jews back, that's where they got synagogues were born when it came in Babylon. That's where they got synagogue. Because they didn't have the temple anymore. The temple was destroyed by Nebuchadnezzar. The Babylonian king, the Chaldean king. And there's where they got, and when they came back, they had to rebuild the temple. But what tribe came back? Judah. And that's where you get the term Jews.
Wow.
It's a short term of the word Judah. Judah. But it means glory to God. See, it's a wonderful word. See? And so that's where we get it. And then everyone became known as Jews. And here in the States, when we say anti-Semitic, we always mean anti-Jewish, but that's still a wrong term to use.
Yeah, it's totally misleading.
Totally misleading, because Jewish people aren't the only Shemites.
Right.
Chaldeans, Assyrians, and there are some others, different groups of people that are still in the Near East that are Shemites.
Yes. What groups would we say are contemporary Shemites?
Well, like I'm telling you, the Assyrians today. We have many Assyrians fled out of Iraq and came here to the States.
What about Palestinians, Iranians?
Well, even the word Palestinian. Did you know how you got that name, Palestine? Because the Roman emperor, hated the Jews. He gave them the name. And that's how we got Palestine. Arabs are Shemites or Semites.
Yes.
Assyrians, Chaldeans, all of these different groups are Semites.
Yeah, I think the word Arabs was the one I felt was missing, and I'm glad that you brought
Arab.
it in. Yeah. Thank you for that. It's eye-opening for people. Many people never think about this, and
they're not educated in the churches either.
Well, I have to confess that I'm not either. But that's what I love about coming to you as a clean slate, because this all comes to me in a very fresh, untainted way. I just resonate with it.
And I believed, I don't know what I do without the spiritual end of it. It's one thing to have the knowledge. It's another thing to understand the spirituality behind it, see?
Without a doubt, because knowledge that's just information. It's dry. I mean, and you can be arrogant about it,
Right, that's exactly what happens. Exactly, people become arrogant. And that's too bad. And again, they build a border then. They've got a line going.